Good day, it's me again, Wayne Woods, postal worker for 35 years. So I have experienced everything from the beginning of casual employees to the ending of the weekend shifts for MSCs, or what they call them, mail service couriers, to the signing up of rural routers. Pretty much everything. I've been kind of on the cusp of the joining of the two unions into one Cup W. I've done all of that. And I even saw the end of the 64-cent stamp, which jumped by almost 50% in 2011, and the elimination of the coal mail, which slowed the mail down in all the plants because of the volumes that were no longer sorted in the stations. They were shipped out, everything, even the station you worked in. So it's a whole thing. Anyhow, this is to all the new people. This what you're seeing now, this animosity from the public and the employer. Get thicker skin. That's all I can say. It is not going to change. And if you thought it was going to become a wonderful, cushy, lazy government job, you didn't get that job. I think the management got that one. So what they expect you to do is they expect that you should be working all the time, every single minute of your day, no time to go to the bathroom. This is the way they work. But I can remember back when they brought in casuals, after the 87 strike, they wanted casuals. Well, they spent millions, hundreds of millions on fancy wardrobes, and you wouldn't believe the garbage they would. Everybody got a big metal box with a stamp in it, but they had no money. Oh, no money. Well, these people didn't have any money. They had money that flowed like water after the strike was over. Every single strike I can remember, it was the same. All this technology and everything, all the machines, they'd already bought them. They just flowed like water. So what you have to remember is they always have like a step. The whole thing with casuals, they wanted casual employees, I guess they call them now temporary employees, but they wanted temporary employees to use them like gig workers. That's what they wanted, but that isn't what they got. They tried to cheat you out of your pay. They cheated you out of your seniority. They cheat you out of your assignments. It was just nonstop grievances, and we finally shook it down to the point now where casuals have rights, good rights. You may not think so, but when I first saw the casuals come in the workplace that we didn't have, and that was around 87, 88, it was terrible. They were treated like garbage, right? They were treated like I was treated when I started as a part-time employee on weekends as a mail service courier in the union, mind you. So anyhow, you kind of think, well, what could go wrong? The post office just wants weekend workers. That's not what they want. What Canada Post wants is Canada Post wants people. That's it, just people. And we'll call you at home when we need you. And you say, well, that's only the weekend. It's not only the weekend. There's a whole bunch of issues, right? So it's not just weekends. It's the fact that they want gig workers that they'll call when they need. Pardon me, and my little dog is kind of going goofy. So they want weekend workers, and they want weekend workers that, or if there's not much work, you can go home. If there is work, we'll call you at home. How's that? And then you got to go kiss ass to get up the assignment. It's almost like an Uber driver. You need a 5-star. Got to have a 5-star. If I don't have a 5-star, they don't call me first. That's what it's going to be. So it's always the foot in the door. It was the foot in the door with casuals or temps, whatever they called them back then. It was a foot in the door with a whole bunch of things. It's like, it's not what they're doing now. It's what they're going to do. That's what you got to think about. You're saying, oh, well, it's just people on the weekend. No, it's not people on the weekend. What they're going to do is do the same thing for relief employees, whether you're an inside worker or an outside worker. They're going to bring in gig workers to cover you. It's almost like Christmas help, you know? So I don't know what kind of job you thought you had, but this has been going on since I started, where the government treats you like a political football, and whoever can kick postal workers around, and this was since I started in 81, where they were tough, let's vote for them. And then it was the public seeing carriers finishing in 4 hours and getting paid for 8 and bragging about it to their neighbors. Then the hate started. And the hate started because they paid for us. And they look at it as you stealing money from them. They don't look at it as the productivity bargaining, which they had, or the incentive overtime, was initiated by Canada Post. So they had plans to go the two-step. You know, they had something else, but it fell apart on them. So we were left with that. So, I mean, it just goes on and on. But now the public doesn't pay for you. They haven't paid for you since, I believe it was 1991. I think it was around there that Canada Post was self-sufficient and doing fine, thank you very much, until they got into that hole deep into the board of directors, CEO mentality, where they could destroy the work and nothing happens to them. Destroy the post office. But you miss a call and they'll call you in the office and suspend you. So this is where you're at. This is your life. This is your job. This is what you were. This is actually what you were hired to do. So everybody asks all those questions about what should I do if this is a. Well, it's not up to you. You are, especially. Let me get this straight. When the public says to you, "Look what's happening to my mail. Why is it so slow?" I used to have a little card that you could print out on your computer and just cut it off with scissors. And when someone asked me something, I just handed them, "Have a nice day," handed them this phone number of the helpline. There's a helpline, they can help you. I said, because I work here. I work here and I only bargain my working conditions. That's all I do. The policies of the post office are the CEOs and the boards of directors. It's not me. I follow the working conditions and the manuals and their policies. That's all I'm doing. I'm a worker bee. You work at supermarket, you don't charge the prices, you don't do this, you don't do that. I'm the same. I'm no different than you. I am a worker bee. I come in the morning, I work, and I go home. The policies belong to the board of directors. So target them. There's a phone number. It'll just print it out on your computer and snip it with scissors and say, here you go. You don't have to get into a discussion because they don't understand it. So that's where you're at with that. And any problems on your route, especially this is for inside workers, they work in groups, they're disciplined as a group, and yada, yada, yada. So they know the rules, they know their collective agreement, they know everything. Clerks are really solid. But carriers, Canada Post has made them so busy that they're not even interested in reading the contract because, you know, it's not all about the contract. Well, it is about the contract. And the problem is, you try and fix a problem that Canada Post created, right? So you tried to fix that problem. That's not up to them. It's up to a lazy supervisor that sits around, they're diddling on their phone while you're out there working. What do they do during the day if nobody's there? Why do they need so many people supervising? They don't. It's all part of the wasting money. It's all part of it. They're trying to get rid of the post office. And eventually I goes, well, why don't we just endorse Purolator, and then it can be kind of like Canada Post or the federal government will use Purolator because it technically is Canada Post because Canada Post used to own it. So, you know, that's their mentality. So look after your job. Don't worry about what Canada Post got to do. You're following their instructions, their collective agreement, their measurement manual, their corporate, I don't know, instruction manual, all that crap they have. They're following that, you're following your collective agreement, and you're following your working conditions. Know your contract. That's it. You don't go in and say, oh, well, the customer, and I heard one yesterday, the customer put a key in a box outside, there's this box outside, and the key's gone. Well, any box I've delivered to that had a key in there had a Canada Post lock on it. And it was a little black box. And the only thing that was in there was a Canada Post, the key to the front door. Then you put it back in when you go. So you got a value for opening it, value for going to the door, value for coming back, putting it back in the box and leaving. That's what you got. But no, you said, well, something's going on. Well, it's not you. It's not your policy. It's Canada Post. Give it to them. Give it to the supervisor that's sitting around during the day with nothing to do. And when I wanted a pen, I didn't say, oh, I need a pen. Oh, they're on my desk. No, I asked you for a pen. I want you to go get the pen. It's your job. You're supposed to supply me with the tools. So I held them to task on everything. And you should be too, but know your rights first, right? After all the suspensions, and I took one fire, only one firing. That was pretty good. And I came back. They wanted me to sign off all the papers, and I said, no, no, no. I'll be here long after you're gone. And sure enough, that guy was gone. That was John Gardner, that labor relations guy in Winnipeg. Bye-bye, Johnny. Anyhow, you've got to protect yourself, because when you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your family, you're protecting your finances, and this is your life. Strikes, misery, public doesn't like you. You hand them that thing. Here's a phone number. Don't get into a conversation with them. All you have to say is, I come in and work under the policies of Canada Post and under my working conditions that I negotiated. Period. Here's a number you can call. That's the helpline, or as I call it, the hopeless line. It's the helpline. And they'll tell you all the answers you need to know. And then let them be pissed off at Canada Post and the hopeless line. So, anyhow, that's all. I just read some stuff on that CUPW unofficial site, and I think there's people there trying to solve Canada Post's problems. And then Canada Post, they'll say, oh, you know why the reason why this isn't working? And then they go in and tell the supervisor. Then the supervisor gets a bonus for suggesting a way to get the post office working better. No, you just work, you go home. You got your job, there it is. So this is your life. This is it. If you don't like it, then maybe, in my opinion, you should be working somewhere else. Because I worked there 35 years. I couldn't have cared less what a supervisor said to me. And if they tried to give me an order that sounded stupid, I said, can I have that in writing, please? And they'd say, well, I'm not going to give you in writing. Well, I'm not going to do it. Go get me a letter. Tell me what you want me to do. And then I got some evidence for a grievance, right? But if you just go, yeah, okay, I guess I'll go do that, you can be fired for doing some of the things they ask you to do, especially if a customer complains. So anyhow, new people have to understand what job they got. It's not the job that the public thinks you're all lazy and overpaid and everything. That wasn't the job you got. And it's it's a wonderful job. No, it isn't. There are some perks to it, but not many. They're disappearing. So anyhow, understand another thing besides the rope measurement manual. Understand the whole thing about the superimposing of holidays for outside workers. Superimposing of holidays. I must have gained over a period of 35 years thousands of holidays for people that wouldn't normally get them because they weren't superimposing. The boss says, oh, you don't want that stuff. Well, that's overtime during the summer, so everybody can get them. And you go, yeah, okay. Superimposing. It benefits Canada Post, it benefits you. So when superimposing happens, you end up with more summer holidays up for new people. And they're not going to tell you that. So what they do is they keep carrying on with, oh, you just bid. Find out if the superimposing, watch the list. Watch the list, understand it. And also the route measurement manual itself is important. And unless you go to a course, you won't understand the manual, but it's a time and motion study. So everything you complain about that you're doing, or someone's parked the car in the driveway and I have to walk further to go around it, that's a supervisor's problem, not yours. It's not yours. You just think that the car's always in the driveway and I'm blocked and it takes me forever to get around it, or there's a dog there. Not your problem. It is in the moment, but that's their problem to untangle. It's their problem to fight with the customer. Your problem is to get the mail from point A to point B. That's it. So there's all kinds of things you have to understand. But that whole thing about superimposing is very important. I don't know if they're doing it. I mean, I found enough holidays for people. That was not even just before I retired. I'll bet you I got 20 or 25 weeks of holidays available for new people. So newer people, you know, the with little seniority. And it used to be when I started, a senior guy would bid all of his holidays and then sell them. So a junior guy or a friend would buy the holiday off him, which was all was totally legal, but the supervisors liked it because they'd get their favorites and talk you into selling them one of your holidays. So they'd get summer holidays, and a new guy who just started has got holidays in August. So keep an eye on your work. Keep an eye on, you know, the thing, and be nicer to each other. That's very important. There is no reason to be nasty to other people. You don't understand what kind of a day they had before they got to you. So be nice to people. Let your problems run off your back like water down a duck's back. You let it go. There's more things. You just follow your legal rights for your work and the duties Canada Post or their policies of Canada Post, and don't violate them. Don't even try and do a shortcut to violate them. Supervisor said, don't worry about that. Yeah, I would worry about it when the supervisor says don't worry about it. So anyhow, I'm suggesting that the new people fully understand their job. They have to do that. I mean, I'm harping all the time about reading the Constitution and the collective agreement. It's obvious that there's a lot of people that need to read those two books. They're not that big. If you can sit down and understand sports rules for 15 different sports, players from this team, players from that, you can't remember your collective agreement. You can't sit down and read that. You can read everything else. You know everything about sports, point spreads, everything. You can learn it. You can learn it like 20 minutes a day. Sit there, have a coffee, 20 minutes a day, read a page, read a couple of pages. And you don't have to read everything. You don't have to read everything. You can brush through the grievance procedure like Article 9, because the grievance procedure is mainly you file a grievance, and those are the instructions for the shop steward and the line of travel of your grievance. So there's a bunch of things you don't need to read. There's things that you do every day. Look them up in the index and find out what your rules are. It's that simple. But like I said, if you can remember all the sports, all the teams, basketball, soccer, everything else, you can't remember your collective agreement? Maybe you don't want to. I don't know. But this is where you are. The public doesn't, they still think they're paying for you. Canada Post won't share that with them because Canada Post hates you too. The employer hates you. The public thinks that you're paying for them and you're all lazy. The politicians still think they can kick you around, even though you're not a public property now. You're actually a crown corporation. They think you can kick you around. So that's where you're at. So just understand that part, that you get kicked around. Okay? You get kicked around. Do your job, and it doesn't matter. Never mind what this one's doing, that one's doing. You do your job, and you will be there until the day you retire. That's what will happen. I did my job. I'm like this. I don't go left or right. I'm right, following whatever I'm supposed to do. And as much as maybe most people don't believe it, I've never walked across a lawn, even if a customer told me to. I said, you can only tell me to go halfway. You don't belong to the lawn next door. So I'm walking across his lawn without permission. I don't cross lawns. I go up and down the sidewalk lots of time, especially when it's overtime. Lots of time. And it'll help as Christmas comes towards you. You learn your collective agreement. As Christmas comes, your hours should be lengthening because it's all based on the percentage of coverage. So the more, like when you get around Mother's Day, Thanksgiving, all those holidays where everybody pumps out the mail, at that point, you should be working more hours. But instead, you're still going home early. So you do it right. You get overtime, put it in the bank, Christmas comes, boom, you got lots of Christmas money, you got holiday money. But no, that's not what you're doing. You're doing all these shortcuts for Canada Post and they crap all over you. And they expect it. They don't have a favor. It's a one-way favor with them. They say, oh, can you do this favor? You ask them to do something, you think you're pulling teeth. You know, can you get a hold of this person for me? Oh, I can't, it's too strenuous. I don't know how to use the phone. So anyhow, have a great day. You're in a good spot right now. I mean, they got to go back to arbitration, to binding arbitration or something. But yeah, you see, it wasn't the end of the world voting no. They lied to you. They lied, right? They lie to you all the time. So what you have is an employer that lies to you, public that dislikes you, politicians that want to point their finger at you all the time as a company they should get rid of, even though Canada Post, government doesn't pay anymore. Watch when they settle. The money flows like water every single time. And then they sweeten the pot on the signing bonus. And then, oh, I thought they didn't have any money. Well, they got money. Not for you. The whole goal is to dismantle the post office, right? So if they dismantle the post office, It goes to their advantage by handing out money and blowing it on stuff. So anyhow, all those things combined, it's like water off a duck's back. Don't worry about it. Do your job, understand your job, and you'll work there forever. But you get stressed out, you get angry, you get fighting with people in the workplace. You don't do that. There's nothing to get angry about. Do I look like an angry person? I'm not an angry person. So anyhow, have a great day, and congratulations on getting back to the negotiation table, because voting no or voting yes was a lie from Canada Post. Oh, you can just vote for this, and whatever you give up now, you can get back later. I'm calling baloney on that. The meter is going like this. This is the baloney meter going. So, yeah, have a good day. I've just rambled on too long. 20 minutes is way too long. But solidarity to all of you. That was a good strike and a good vote. And it was a good education experience for everybody. And you learned that through a strike, you gain more solidarity and understand each other. And you get to associate with people that work in your workplace that you haven't seen in a long time, including clerks and mechanics and everybody else. So have a wonderful day and solidarity. And thank you very much.